Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail, this is the craziest Facebook Marketplace experience I've ever been a part of. Now, don't take the title and thumbnail too seriously, just stick around for the video and we'll get into the details about exactly what happened, and we'll go over the full story. Now, as you guys know, I did sell my YZ to get this new KX with the electric start. I love it, it's great. Totally worth the upgrade, but we did have some problems selling my YZ 450. It took forever, first of all. The bike was up for sale for months. I actually saved up enough money to buy this bike fully and still have my YZ. That's how long it took. So it did take longer than expected, but everything worked out. But the journey was crazy. So we're gonna go over everything right now. I'm gonna put on the GoPro, hop in the car, and go for a quick drive. Now it is getting dark, so I apologize. So just stick around, listen to the story. It's more of a talking video rather than a video. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's hop in the car and take a ride. All right, boys, let's go for a little ride. Cold start time, cold start time, cold start time. Spicy. Dude, it looks so dark outside, but my tent is just makes it look so much darker. You guys ready for a little 1-2? Gotta turn traction off. Let's go. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into the story. So, oh, that's a dangerous corner. Alright, like I was saying, let's go ahead and get to the story. So as you guys know, I was in the process of selling my YZ 450 when I bought my KX. So the guy messaged me on Facebook Marketplace and we set up a time for him to come see the bike. He lived about 2 hours away from me, so it really wasn't a bad drive for him. I mean, considering usual Facebook Marketplace finds, he was just gonna come to the house and see the bike and we'd let him ride it around the neighborhood. So he comes to see the bike, it's nighttime, it's probably about 6 o'clock, and the guy was really nice, he was about my age, and he was a mechanic. That was what his job was. Oh man, this road's so much fun. So we're checking out the bike. Obviously, my YZ was super clean. I have a couple YouTube videos of me riding it way back in the day. I don't ride fast anyways, as you guys know, so it pretty much just got lugged around the trails and the track, so it was in really good condition. The only problem was, right before I sold it, when I would ride the bike, I'd have trouble starting it. For some reason, while the bike was hot, it just would not want to start. When it was cold, it would start fine. But when it got hot and I would turn the bike off, a lot of times I would have to bump start it because it just would not start. And so I figured it was just the valves that needed adjusting. And I called the local shop around here and they quoted me $400 to get the valves adjusted. I was like, no, I'd rather just take some money off the price that I want for the bike. But it never really was like a major problem. Like I never had it it always cranked for me. It never didn't start. Y'all check this out. This guy's about to have to swing super wide. Oh, that's sketch, bro. That guy should not be on this road. So the guy was checking out my bike at the house. I could tell from just texting the guy that he was super excited to get this bike. You know, he checked it out, looked over everything, and when it came time for him to test ride it, you know, I said, you gotta turn the choke on. You know, sometimes these 450s really are hard to start. And I told him that, so it was in his mind, you know, that these bikes aren't easy to start. Even my KX now is hard to start sometimes. So I turned on the choke and said, you know, do you want to kick it or me? He said, I'll do it. So he hopped up on the dirt bike and the bike was cold. He started kicking and it started probably second or third kick, so you know, normal. Well, this guy kicked the bike and I'm talking about as soon as it started, he touched the throttle, shut off. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Now it's not gonna want to start, but it's gonna start eventually, so it's okay. So then he gets off and I try and start kicking it. The bike will not start. And I'm sitting there kicking and kicking and kicking, and it still just is not wanting to start. So then we go to bump starting, because that's usually what we did before when the bike would not want to start, but it's always started cold every time. Even if it shut off when I first started to kick it, it always started again. So it literally has never happened to me before. So we try to bump start it and the bike just rolls down the hill. It's not even wanting to fire. And by this time, oh, is there a cop on this road? Yo, they got like a whole squad, dude. Well, I will not be going fast on the way down this hill. So like I was saying, we tried to bump start it multiple times. We pushed it to the top of a hill, rode it down, and it still would not start, man. And it sounded bad. Like it had never done this before in all the years of owning it. And so I'm like, great, here we go. Now there's something wrong with the bike, and now I got to get it fixed, and now I can't sell it to this guy. And it's so embarrassing to have someone drive 2 hours away to come look at your dirt bike and it won't start. Dang, dude, bump. So we told the guy, hey, we completely understand if you just want to walk away from this bike right now. Like, we've been burned on bikes before. We completely get it. We know how it looks. but we promise you this has never happened before, ever. If I was buying my dirt bike that day, I would have walked away the first time it didn't start. So I completely get it. And the guy has been there. We've been trying to start the bike for 45 minutes now. And, you know, it just would not start. So at this time, we were trying to figure out what was wrong with the bike. And remember, I said before, the guy who was buying the bike was a mechanic. So he kind of knew what he was looking for. He said, do you think the spark plug could possibly be fouled? And it was like a light bulb, dude. It was like everything that would point towards a fouled spark plug was the symptoms we were having. So I kid y'all not, we are in my garage tearing apart my dirt bike to get to the spark plug while we're trying to sell it to this guy. You know, you can see how that looks from a buyer's perspective. You probably don't want to buy a bike that you're working on in the guy's garage. So we take out the spark plug, and it didn't look terrible, but it was pretty bad. And the guy said, do y'all have an extra spark plug? We looked around, sure enough, we don't have any spark plugs. So then I suggested, why don't we take apart my dad's dirt bike? Because it's pretty much the same. His is a 250, mine's a 450. It's pretty much the same bike. And that's what we did. We went to my dad's bike next, tore it apart too. Now we got two bikes teared apart. And so when we got to the spark plugs on my dad's bike, the hole to the spark plug was too small for the socket. Great, well that's not gonna work. What do we do now? That's when I suggested we take apart my new KX 450. So now we got three bikes tore apart in my garage while we're trying to sell the original bike we tore apart to this guy who's driven 2 hours to come buy my dirt bike. So we take the spark plug out of my KX and we compare it with my YZ. Sure enough, they're different. They're not the same. So great, now we don't have any spark plugs, and we just spent 30 minutes tearing apart 3 dirt bikes to try and get spark plugs. The guy still did not want to walk away, so my dad said, you know, if you give me 20 minutes, I'll be right back, and I can, dang, dude, that was a sick WRX. I get so distracted, dude. Anyways, my dad said, I'll go to AutoZone and get us some spark plugs. Now my dad goes to AutoZone, gets spark plugs, while I wait there and talk to the guy for 20 minutes. We also, in the meantime, put the spark plugs back in the other dirt bikes and put them back together. My dad gets home, we put the spark plug in there, bike fires up, first kick. This guy can finally ride the bike. So I make sure to let this bike warm up. I'm the one that started it. I didn't let him start it. I let the bike warm up to make sure that it's not gonna turn off again. Just in case, because you never know. So the guy goes on a test ride, you know, does a couple wheelies and stuff. By this time, he's already been at my house for an hour and about an hour and a half, hour 45. And so he rides the bike around and he makes sure that it runs good. So he was getting on it and going through the gears and everything went great. I was like, okay, thank God this is over now. So he comes back and he turns the bike off, and I figured he'd walk it back into the garage, but what he was doing is he turned the bike off and then he kicked it again while it was hot to make sure that it would start up again. I got a little nervous because all the times before when the bike was hot, it did not want to start on me. So I was like, oh God, here we go. The bike's not going to start. He's not going to want it. Well, he kicks it one time, bike fires right up just like that while it was hot too. He had been ripping it down the neighborhood, so it had gotten pretty hot. And so when that bike started, I was so relieved, like, because I really thought it wasn't gonna start. And so the guy, when he got back, he was smiling from ear to ear, and he was actually talkative now too. And so now I'm thinking, okay, good, maybe we can actually sell this bike. We still worked out the deal, and so it ended up working out. He really enjoyed the bike. This has been the craziest Facebook Marketplace experience I've ever had. And trust me, between the car parts and dirt bikes, I've had a lot of Facebook Marketplace interactions. To conclude the story, what I think happened was when I had ridden the dirt bike before and had trouble starting it while it was hot, I think it was because the spark plug was fouling. It had been about time for me to replace the spark plugs on it, and it just got to the point where the spark plug was like, nope, I'm not gonna work anymore. So I really do think that the valve, you know, I don't know because I don't have the bike anymore, but I think the valves were actually fine. And it turned out that my spark plug was just fouling, and when it got hot, it didn't want to spark anymore. Wrapping up this video, guys, I just want to apologize because I told you guys I would post this video probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I just never got around to it. I'm so happy that my YZ is gone, and I used some of the cash I got from that to go towards my suspension that I just got done. If you guys want to check out that video, I don't know. Oh, a little pop there. I don't know how to put it at the top or whatever, so you can just go to my channel and check it out. Noob YouTuber here. Anyways, guys, I know this was kind of a different video. Also, it's really dark. I apologize. I kind of got carried away while talking and spent way too much time on this, even though the video is probably pretty short. I stutter a lot. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Leave a like and a comment, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.